It's time for Waking Up with Wesley, today's forecast and weather-wise discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Hello there, South Mississippi and everyone watching. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Normally this is the part where I say thank you for waking up with Wesley, but it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you are waking up, lucky you, a late riser. Well, today we're going to take a preview of tomorrow. It's Halloween Eve, your Thursday, October 30th, and we're going to look at how spooky things are going to be for your trick-or-treating plans on the holiday tomorrow and how long this cool snap will last. So let's get to the forecast, and before we jump to tomorrow, we're going to take a look at today. It's a fine fall day if you ask me. Yeah, it's a little chilly this morning, but in the afternoon as the sun shines brighter, it won't be quite as chilly. And even though there is a little bit of a breeze, it's not as windy as it was yesterday. At least it's nice and dry. Look at what the sky did this morning. So look how dark it was at 5 in the morning, by the way. When we get the time change next week, 5 in the morning will be brighter because it slides our sunrise back an hour, so that'll be nice. We had some clouds. This is what I'm trying to show you. Some clouds this morning that hung out with us for several hours. But as we have moved into the 9 o'clock hour, it appears that most of those clouds have cleared, and I fully expect that trend to continue as we go into the remainder of our Thursday. So here's a look at the weather pattern. We have a cool front moving off to our east. We have a high pressure moving in from the west. Between those two systems, it can get a little breezy. It's called a pressure gradient flow, wind flow, and high pressure, you already know. The wind circulates clockwise around that, so it's coming in like this from the north. Low pressure, wind circulates counterclockwise around that, so it's coming in from the northwest like that. So you have both of the systems working together to bring us a northwesterly breeze. And that's going to keep it cool and dry too. But notice the satellite does show some cloud cover, right? Where are most of those clouds? They're over here, basically on the backside of that low pressure system and frontal system. And these clouds are eventually going to move away because guess where you don't see any clouds at? Over here by the high pressure. High pressure usually promotes fair weather, clear skies. And as that high gets closer and closer to us, that's how we're going to get our sky to basically completely clear. So this morning, there have been a few clouds, the rain chance 0%. And then as we go to the afternoon, you'll notice things turning clearer, setting the stage for basically a completely clear sky heading into tonight. And that's going to be important for our temperatures. Before we get to tonight, let's quickly cover today. Middle 60s, which is the same as yesterday afternoon. So expect this little cool snap to continue for at least one more day that keeps us below 70. And at least it's not as windy as yesterday. Now tonight, it's going to turn kind of cold because we've got the perfect recipe for rapidly cooling temperatures. Ingredient 1, clear sky. Ingredient 2, calm wind. And if you want a bonus ingredient, it's that we're going to have a high pressure system sitting basically directly on top of us. So multiple factors coming together that will allow for the temperatures to rapidly fall this evening and overnight. So that by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, they'll be in the lower 40s. So tomorrow morning is expected to be around 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it was this morning. And I'm not even ruling out a couple of spots that might go to 39 or 38. It's usually going to be like an inland area in Pearl River County, maybe 1 or 2 spots in Stone County near Big Level or Wiggins or Perkinston. Could be Lucedale, could be Picayune, and then one other spot could also be right along the Pascagoula River in Jackson County near Gaucher, Pascagoula. So Gaucher, Vancleave, Pascagoula. So by the time we wake up tomorrow, it is going to be a little cold in some places. So That's how your Halloween Friday starts off. But tomorrow, it's going to be bone dry. And I'm not just talking about all those skeletons that are going to be out and about. And I'd like to call it beautiful for Halloween. We're breaking out all the fun weather words. You could even call it fantastic. I would call it fantastic, but there's just too much sunshine for our vampire friends. They're going to be all kind of, indoors, hiding from all of that sunshine that's expected in the forecast tomorrow. But now it's time to talk about your hour-by-hour trick-or-treating planner. What's your costume looking like for trick-or-treating tomorrow? If you are planning a relatively warm costume with long sleeves or something like that, or a mask, probably going to be very ideal for those types of costumes. Our temperatures in the evening right before sunset will be in the 60s, but then after the sun goes down around 7 p.m., it will quickly fall into the 50s. So it is going to, get a little creepier, get a little cooler as we go into the evening hours there, because the sky is still going to be clear and the wind is still going to be calm. So that allows for another night, tomorrow night, for rapidly falling temperatures. So you can see there as we walk you through this hour by hour. At 5 in the evening, we've got temperatures in the mid and upper 60s. 6 in the evening, drop into the lower 60s. At 7 in the evening, once the sun goes down, you don't have that sunlight to keep us above the 50s. So yeah, we're falling back to the 50s, upper 50s at 7 p.m., mid 50s at 8 p.m., low to mid 50s at 9 p.m. And then by the time you're at 10, which I figure is when most trick-or-treating is probably wrapping up by then, even though it is a weekend, and so maybe some folks might stay out a little later, but you're looking at lower 50s by then. So again, for Halloween Friday evening in South Mississippi, it does look like there will be a spooky chill in the air, but you don't have to worry about rain. It's going to be completely dry. And also, it won't be as windy as it was earlier this week. So, these types of numbers, they're not like downright cold and frigid where it's going to cut right through you and you need to have a hat and gloves on or anything like that, because the wind is actually going to be pretty calm. And as long as you're, moving around, chewing some chocolate and chewing some candy and walking from door to door, especially if, like I said, you have a costume with a mask or a costume with long sleeves, this is actually pretty ideal. Now, for the other types of costumes that maybe don't have as much fabric, more exposed limbs or more of your body that's exposed, could be a little on the cool side for that. So you got to make sure you keep moving around, go even faster from door to door, chew the candy, chew the chocolate even more quickly. And just keep that in mind. It is going to be on the chilly side for those other types of costumes that don't have as much fabric. So that's pretty much your trick-or-treating outlook for Halloween 2025. It does look like we are going to see a nice time this time around. Sometimes for Halloween you can have it where it's in the cold 30s. Sometimes for Halloween we can have severe weather, but we don't have any of that. Overall, this is basically A, if not A plus, for your trick-or-treating forecast. And I just want to give you a heads up that even though it is Friday for Halloween, November 1st is the day after for Saturday. And you shouldn't be surprised if you start to hear maybe some Christmas songs on the radio. I mean, come on, she will defrost this weekend. So you should not be surprised if you start to hear some of that pretty quickly. It's going to come at you fast. This weekend is going to come at you fast because we're going to quickly go from Halloween Friday to quickly maybe some Mariah Carey Saturday or Sunday. If you start to hear that song, don't say I didn't warn you, because yeah, the holiday season will be upon us by that point in time. Well, thank you so much for watching this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. We'll see you again next time.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.